In a world of escalating costs, overproduction, and a demand for sustainability, the wine and hospitality industries are looking into innovative ways in which they can overcome these challenges and stay relevant to their audience. My name's Giles James, and I'm a freelance wine buyer and trainer to the hospitality industry, as well as a market and export manager for wineries around the world. And in this video, I'm linking up with One Circle to show the life cycle of a key keg from winery to consumer and onto recycling. For the first part of our journey, I'm in sunny London to visit the Pig's Head in Clapham Old Town. They're a pro-planet pub who have put sustainability at the heart of everything they do. And today I'm here to meet Jack Ross, one of the owners, to talk to him about how they're using Key Keg as part of their sustainability programme.
Giles, do you want to try the Cape Town South African Bordeaux blend?
Love to, Jack.
So this is one of my favourite wines to recommend. It's a real crowd pleaser. I call it a conversation wine. Sit down and drink all the things.
Well, that's good, isn't it?
That is, isn't it? Especially for this time of the year.
I'd call that a danger one.
So Jack, here we are in the lovely Pig's Head pub in Clapham. Do you want to start by giving me a bit of background as to the pub, when it started and what your ethos was around sustainability?
We opened the pub in October 21, and one of our goals was to be a pro-planet pub. And our eventual goal is to become carbon negative. One of the key things is always to make sure that we're the best pub in Clapham, but driving that is being around pro-planet.
So really, innovation is quite important to you because you've got to find ways of reducing your carbon footprint, to behave in a more sustainable manner, and to reduce waste. You introduced Key Keg from day one. So what has that brought to you in terms of as a business that's helping you sort of reach all of those goals that you want to around sustainability?
It's a natural fit for us. Key Keg is innovative, and we like to think that we're quite innovative as well. It involves a little bit of trust because we're serving wine on tap, and traditionally people are used to having wine in a bottle. We calculated we removed 3.74 tonnes of carbon every year by shifting from glass bottles to Key Keg.
Right.
Quality-wise, the wine is great.
I think there has been a perception around wine and keg that it's about cheap.
Yeah.
And it's about lesser quality. But actually, what you guys do here is you've got the opportunity to offer more premium wines because the shelf life of wine and keg is far greater than opening up a bottle and putting a stopper in it every night and taking the air out of it as best you can, because your system is an enclosed system.
Yeah, it's all in vacuum. And the great thing is, the best way to sell a wine is get somebody to taste it. Every time I give somebody a taster of a wine that's in a bottle, I have to unseal it, I pour it, then I reseal it.
And you've automatically got air going into that bottle,
exactly.
so it's already going off.
So that time has already gone.
Yeah.
Whereas if I walk to the tap, I pour the tap for a taster,
Yeah.
I take it to the guest. And in fact, I would quite confidently say one of my favourite wines to recommend is one of the wines on tap. And not only because it's a great wine, but the thing is you can get it in people's hands.
Well, talking about great wine, what have we got here?
So this is...
Because you've been steadily
yeah,
drinking
sorry.
and I haven't even touched it
if
yet.
you just keep up,
And I'm meant to be the
good.
wine person.
It'd be really good if you just keep up. This is a lovely new Sauvignon Blanc that we've got on. You can probably tell me more about it. I'm just enjoying it. But it's a good example of another fantastic wine that we have on tap.
I mean, it is, first of all, it is a really nice wine. Whoever chose it deserves a
who
medal.
I don't know. I might have to have
But,
another one.
I mean, I guess I can tell you a little bit about this because we're actually going to go and see this winery. It's Domaine Grand Maine in the Côte de Duras, which neighbours Bordeaux. They've traditionally bottled, but they really saw the benefit of engaging a new clientele, a new sort of avenue for wine and a new audience. So this is the first time they've kegged Sauvignon Blanc. And it's really nice to see that the wine is just as fresh and just as clean, just as tasty as I know it from bottle. Welcome to France. I'm in the Côte de Duras at Domaine Grand Maine, and I'm off to go and meet the team to go and talk to them about their sustainability story and the part that Key Keg has to play in it. So why don't you come and join me?
These vines are 40 years old, approximately.
40.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this is the Epicurean Red 2023.
Have you got any glasses here?
Huh?
Can we have a little taste of it?
Yes. It's really nice. The color is really dark. So
Super dark.
yes.
I mean, it's saturated.
The quality of the Cabernet was really nice in 2023. For me, it's really nice.
I'm joined by Colleen Sicard, head winemaker at Domaine Grand Maine. Thank you so much for joining me today, because I know that you have just started harvest, so it's obviously a very busy time for you. So tell me, how's it going?
Really nice. So we began 1 week ago with our whites. We are really happy with the quality at that moment. And even tomorrow we will begin with rosé. We are really not far from Bordeaux. 15 kilometers away you have the appellation Bordeaux, which begin at this point. So we are really related to them. We even have the same grape variety, some Sauvignon Blanc, some Sémillon, and for the red, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, and Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yep.
So it's exactly the same grapes. The terroir is really near the one of Saint-Emilion, so really a nice terroir with some clay, limestone. We are also located on the hillside, so this allows us to have different type of soil to create different type of wine too.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, there is an approach towards sustainability which covers not only the work that you do in the vineyards, but also ensuring there's a level of biodiversity around the estate as well.
Mm-hmm.
But you recently got HVE3 certification, which is sort of the absolute 100% certified HVE.
Yes, I cannot go.
You can't go beyond that?
Yes.
Right. What are the sort of measures for HVE?
So you have the biodiversity, you have the fertilization, and you have all the products that you use to spray on the vineyard. For example, we use some organic product to spray on the vineyard, such as sulfur and copper. We also are really careful with the biodiversity. If you look around, we have a lot of trees. We have a program also to plant new trees. We also have some beehives, and we do also a little bit of honey.
And I guess that leads me on nicely onto the whole conversation around Key Keg, because this is a very new innovation for Grand Maine.
Yes.
And I was wondering if you could sort of maybe expand on why you brought it in and how it helps build on your sustainable credentials.
Yeah. So the first time that I heard about that, I was like, what is this? And then when I reflected about that, it was really a nice concept, let's say, because it's really renewable. We also avoid to buy some bottle, to buy some cap, to buy some cork, etc., to even the label. So this also saves some dry goods and not like...
And the cost of dry goods, as far as I understand, has
Yes.
just been going up and up and up.
Up and never stop.
Yeah.
So yes, so that's why it's really save us also some money, but also really nice for the environment
Yes.
and all what we want to create here in Grand Maine.
But then there's also the further reaching implications of you're cutting down the amount of CO2 it takes to produce glass versus a keg. You're also reducing your emissions to ship the volume of wine. You actually have a further reach in terms of the benefits that you're bringing through your sustainability decisions that you take here at the winery.
Yes, exactly. And for example, yes, we quite double the quantity per pallet with a key cake compared to a bottle.
I've been looking at this board of cheese and charcuterie for quite some time, so I think we should wrap it up there
For sure.
and enjoy something to eat. So
Yes.
thank you, Colleen. Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much indeed. Sustainability is all well and good, but it needs to make commercial sense. I'm going to sit down with Volker Sitzdemer, owner of Domaine Grand Maine, to understand more about how Key Keg fits in with their business commercially. Come on. That's right, you have a piss.
Wonderful idea, Charles.
It's rosé time.
Rosé time. You're doing great.
I have a little bit of practice. Volker, here we are in the Côte d'Uras in your beautiful vineyard. Thank you so much for allowing me to come and meet with you today and to sit down and learn more about your journey.
Yeah.
Are you happy with the way things are going at harvest so far this year?
The harvest is going well. We have great faith that we're producing quality wines again. And my winemaker is happy, so that's good.
Saw the fruit coming in.
Yeah.
It's all looking nice and clean.
Interesting process, isn't it?
Very interesting
Yeah,
process.
yeah.
And a very fast process.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah.
you're extracting colour
Yeah, absolutely.
as soon as it's been picked.
Yeah, true.
So you've got to
Yeah,
get it
yeah.
into those presses
Yeah,
very
yeah,
quickly
yeah.
and onwards. But obviously the end result is this beautiful pale rosé that we have here. So this is 100% Merlot.
100%. This is going to be our next keg project.
Why did you look to the innovative idea of bringing Key Keg into your wine program?
One of the advantages is that it's a means of transporting your wine in a very secure way.
Mm-hmm.
We know that the wine will be the same as it left the vineyard, and that the customer will have a guaranteed quality wine. And that is obviously one of the, I would say, the most important things
Yes.
about shipping wine to a different country.
Yes.
You have to actually know for sure that the quality will stay the same.
Yeah.
And that happens with the Key Keg. And we're even confident in using Key Kegs for our premium products as well.
Right.
So that brings significant economy to your company.
Yeah. If places like Burgundy are putting Meursault into a Key Keg, that's sending a message to the market saying that this isn't about cheap. This
No.
is about quality. And
Absolutely.
actually,
Yeah.
with the stability of a Key Keg,
Yeah, true.
that bar and restaurant doesn't have to worry about
True.
selling
Yeah.
the wine in a very short
Yeah,
space of
yeah,
time as you
yeah.
would with a bottle,
Yeah.
because it's not going to go off.
No, it's true.
And let's not be naive. You, at the end of the day, you are a business. Key Kegs are a cost saving in relation to buying glass and cardboard, packaging.
Cost saving in logistics altogether. I mean, for us it's quite easy. We can fill them ourselves, and the alternative is that we have to bottle it. So you never know whether the company who brings you the bottles or the labels or whatever is on time, you know.
Yeah.
So it saves us a lot of, let's say, irritation in that
Yeah.
perspective as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And time is money.
And time is money.
You mentioned that you fill the kegs here
Yeah.
on site. Is it a straightforward process?
It's a pretty straightforward process. It's fast, it's easy. We even enjoy it. We can just steer the whole process better than we used to do. Yeah, and that's good.
Volker, you were talking about the benefits to yourself as a producer, but there's also the further reaching benefits to your customers in your overseas markets.
Yeah, the benefit for the cafe, the restaurant, the pub is huge because they get rid of bottles.
Yeah.
They have more space in their units. Also for a consumer, wine on tap, that's interesting.
When we met with Jack at the Pig's Head, he showed us where he stores his Key Kegs
Yeah,
that are connected to the wine on tap system.
okay, yeah.
And he said that he would never be able to fit the amount of wine in bottles
Oh yeah, I can
in
imagine.
relation to how much
Oh,
he's
yeah.
able to store
Oh yeah.
with the Key Keg.
You can store them ambient, you can store them refrigerated. So
Yeah.
our white wines are stored chilled, the red wines are stored ambient. They're very manageable, 20 kilos, everybody can manage them.
Yeah.
So Key Keg comes in, it's super easy to maneuver around, it's super user friendly.
And what about flexibility of setup of the system? Because you're operating two different systems whereby you've got something going through a traditional cellar,
Yeah.
but then you're also using the compressors.
Yeah, so we have 3 two-line Linde compressors, and they are standalone. So you just plug them into a normal wall socket, and they have an air compressor and that pressurizes the keg, pushes the wine through, and they have a cooling unit on as well. So you can choose between you either have ambient or you have chilled wine on the Linde units, and we have 3 of those. We've chosen to use those for our red wines, and they are standalone. No gas required, just hook them up, away you go.
I guess one of the things that we all experienced over the course of this last year is the escalation in costs of everything to do business, right?
Yeah.
Taking glass out of the equation, having a single vessel holding 20 litres of wine, presumably there's also value that you can pass on to the customers and a cost saving, but you're still meeting your requirements as a business from a commercial basis?
Overall, we're about 3 to 4% more GP on a wine on tap.
Right.
But that doesn't also include the savings that we're passing on to the guest.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important thing. We can have a better wine on tap and be able to offer a really, really good price.
Yeah. And you've elevated the quality.
And the quality.
It's got to work for the consumer, and it's got to work for you.
And it definitely is, because we have great wines, good GP, and we are passing that all on to the guest.
I've just sort of intruded somebody's evening, and I'm sat here with Liam and Emily. Thank you very much for letting me gate crash your afternoon drink. Tell me, first of all, what have you ordered?
Ordered a Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's wine on tap?
It is, yeah.
Okay. And first impressions when you tasted it? How do you find it?
I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And is there any reason why you particularly chose to have a wine on tap?
Bit of like cost and also like choice, because you've got the wine is a bit cheaper than some of the ones that you could just order by the bottle. You kind of can pick and choose what you like. So you can have more than one sort of like a different glass like Sauvignon Blanc and then something else maybe later on in the evening.
And what about the sustainability side of wine?
I'd imagine if it's coming from, you know, a keg rather than, you know, a bottle, there's got to be some sort of sustainability benefit to that.
Yeah.
Seeing as it's the Pig's Head, and the Pig's Head is known for being a very sustainable pub.
Yeah.
So
does that sort of matter to you?
yeah, it's nice to know that what you're having is you know, not doing as much of harm to the planet, I think, as some other things that you might potentially have. It's nice. It's like sort of a nice touch.
One of my first questions is, what happens to the key keg after it comes here? Because that's the other thing that we're really, really mindful of, is what happens to what we produce and waste.
And how simple is that process of recycling?
It's really easy. So we have an account with First Mile.
First Mile provides circular economy solutions for its clients, and increasingly the food and beverage sector are looking for a solution for key kegs. The customer contacts us for a collection, and we will collect the keg the next day.
The only thing that you need to do is depressurize the keg.
Very straightforward.
Yeah, super easy, and then it's gone.
That comes back to our operational depot. We then dismantle, and it's very easy to screw off the head of the keg and pop off the base. They then get put to one side while we dismantle the barrel part of the keg. And it's important to take that apart because inside the key keg is a polymer bag. We're then baling the material, and that involves a bale of the black polypropylene heads and bases of the kegs and a separate bale of the clear PET keg material. That material is then baled up and stored on site here until key keg come and take the material away to recycle it back into new kegs.
So the big question is, are you pleased you made the decision to take on Key Keg?
Yeah, for sure.
Fantastic. So there we have it. Key Kegs have proved to have benefits sustainably and commercially at every touch point. For the producer, it means saving against the cost of glass. For the venue, it adds value without sacrificing quality. And for the consumer, it means that perfectly poured glass of wine glass after glass after glass. But at the heart of this lies sustainability. Whether it's saving CO2 in production, cutting emissions in transport, or having the ability to recycle key kegs, every time you sit down and have a glass of wine, you know that you're doing your bit for the planet, one sip at a time.